Discovering possibilities and potential with passion every day. This is a TPPN production.
It's your ability to understand how it works. To understand how it works.
Q-tape. Possibilities Network. And 3, 2, 1. Live from Indianapolis, Indiana, this is the iPad Possibilities Show. With your host, Tim Chapman.
Welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast, episode number 71, Missing Apps. Well, welcome. We're here for the Sunday night live show. We've got John Finnan and Steve Bostor here. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great. Good. How's it going?
Fantastic. It's been, it's odd. You know, every week's a big iPad week, even though there's nothing really going on.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into everything, I wanted to have a kind of exciting announcement. This podcast finally has a sponsor. I'm very excited. Yes, I'm excited. And I wanted to hold off and make sure it's a sponsor that will not, bug you and just do products I don't like. So besides getting paid to sponsor them, I wanted to bring some benefit to the listeners. So Gadget Freeway is the company that's sponsoring. And I think Gadget Freeway sent you guys a bag the other week as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's a really cool bag. It's my man bag.
Yep. I'll be talking about that at the end of this show. But I was attracted to this company because they do unique products. They bring products that open up more doors of possibilities, as I like to say. And so they've got some very unique stuff, and that's kind of their niche. They do unique tech products, and I'll be talking about those kind of on every other show or whatever. So that's why I was attracted to them. They've got some unique products, some Bluetooth stuff, and some an iPad screen glare protector that I'm going to check out later that I'm very curious to look at. But yeah, they're supporting our podcast, and when you support them, you support me. So go over to gadgetfreeway.com for more information about what they are up to. So with that said, let's get on to the first bit of news, and let's start with the most ridiculous thing of the week. And this is lawsuit over iPad overheating. And I think this is just nuts. So the lawsuit here is someone tried to use their iPad and it protected them by saying you want to turn this off and make sure it's not too hot to use, basically. And I think this is totally ridiculous because I leave my iPad in my car at work when it's 90 degrees outside. I have it turned off in the car, come back, and it works.
So Tim, here's let me give you some personal experience. So out here in Arizona, other than like the last week, we usually have a lot of sunshine. And so this happened to me personally when I had my iPad on the seat and the sun was shining on it while I was driving. And when I got to the car, it was it gave me a message on the screen that said it was overheating, or it shut down to prevent overheating. So I think it's really more the screen issue more than anything is if the screen stays in bright sunlight for too long, starts to get warm, it's going to shut down. But, that's just protecting it. I mean, I'd rather have that happen than the device fry itself in the heat.
And I have to ask, why would you have it just on your seat? I put it underneath my chair so it's not visible. And I also turn it off as well.
Well, I was driving, and I had just set it on the seat. And with the sun coming.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
By the time I stopped, it had gotten warm enough from the sun shining on it to do that.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's understandable if you're going to keep it, if it's going to sit in the sun and the sun just kind of bakes the screen, which is it's kind of telling you, ouch, don't do that, right? So
exactly.
that's kind of normal for electronics. I've used it in if I have my top up, so that I first hop in the car, it's just cooking hot in there. And I'll turn my iPad on, and it's been sitting in there in between the seats for at least an hour, and it'll power right on. I have not been able to make this happen. So I'm wondering if this is like it's a it's a flaw in a certain percentage number of iPads or something. I don't. It doesn't seem to be across the board.
And it might
So
be just
I
here
don't think
in
it's a
Arizona.
flaw. I don't think it's a flaw. I mean, it's definitely was built in to do this because it displays a message on the screen.
Yep, the iPhone.
So-
Oh yeah. I mean,
Right.
I mean,
But
the fact,
yeah, I
oh,
mean,
go ahead.
some may be more susceptible to the heat than others. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna think. I was thinking, well, maybe there's a flaw in some of these, a manufacturing flaw that's making these things some overheat more than others. That it's bringing that message up. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a flaw.
Well,
So
since
yeah, there's a lawsuit about it, and I think it's ridiculous. Just use your iPad. It's not an outdoor device, I don't think. Although I'll talk about later about how it could be. So a little teaser.
Well,
there, but
let me just say that since that one time it happened, I make sure I kind of don't put it in the direct sunlight when I set it on the seat. I put it so it's shaded,
yeah.
and it hasn't happened again. So it's not a big
Awesome.
deal.
Well, let's go along to some software updates. Or this is just kind of random. So next one's Kindle, updated to 2.2. And I feel like every week there's some sort of ebook update. I think this is the most heated market right now, especially in the apps as well as the hardware. And Kindle added a new dictionary with 250,000 extra definitions and integration with Google and Wikipedia, just like iBooks. And a couple other things, fast app switching for the iPhones and stuff, which aren't these guys. So,
Yeah.
not much else, but it was a kind of big update, I guess.
Yeah, and I put a note in here about the Kobo ebook reader, and that was released I think in late June. I just ran across it, and it's another free reader where you buy books through it. I don't know that we needed another free reader that you buy books through.
Kobo is what Borders has based their whole e-reading system off of. So that's that. I mean, it's Borders entry, and Borders, they're kind of lacking. They don't have the innovation of the Nook, and they don't have the selection of the Kindle. So I don't know what they have going for them right now.
Yeah, I was rather disappointed in the interface. Not anywhere up to par with iBooks or Kindle. Certainly. Yep.
Any
Yeah,
thoughts on
I agree.
e-reading, Steve?
Yeah, I really don't use the Nook version. I use the Kindle app because there's more content there than there is in iBooks.
Yeah.
But I don't. But I mean, I like the interface of iBook better. So there's a lot of things, fiction type of stuff I can read in iBook. Apple just they need to get more content, man. I go in there and I do a search.
Agreed.
For example, the last thing I went to search for, I went to find a book that I could use to learn iPhone programming. And you would think, hey, Apple might have that in their iBooks, but no. You go in there, you do a search for iPad programming, and it tries to correct your spelling. So I ended up going over to the Kindle, and ironically, there was a whole bunch of apps, of books in there.
Yeah, that's what
So-
that drives me insane, because I will hesitate quite a bit to buy a Kindle book because I don't want to be in that marketplace in that app. So I'll kind of wait, but I was trying to find, the Facebook book, Accidental Billionaires or whatever, and it's in Kindle. It's
Yeah.
on iBooks, so I'll eventually buy it in the Kindle form, I think. But it's a bad situation right now.
I'm lazy. I bought it in audiobook, and I just kind of listened to it. I'm on my third time listening to it now. It's a really cool book.
Awesome. Cool. Well, the next bit of, I guess, discussion is a little tip I discovered. I was actually watching Leo Laporte's show. He's got an iPad show now. And they're talking about this tip they found in Mac Rumors. So it actually comes from Mac Rumors about using the spacebar with multi-touch. So you guys can try this. If you hit the spacebar with one finger, you'll get a single space. 2 fingers, you get 2 spaces. 3 fingers, and so on. So you can essentially replace the need for a tab button with just using 5 fingers. It's kind of hard to do 5, but I was actually using this in church today, trying to make Evernote have some sort of nice formatting by doing this. So you can actually, it's pretty crazy. You can have multi-touch on your spacebar key, which I did not know existed.
I did not either. That's interesting.
Isn't that wild?
It's very wild. I kind of don't really see a whole lot of need for it, but
I mean, I was using it a bunch and taking notes today just because I knew it was out there. And is this why Apple didn't put a tab bar on their keyboard, do you think?
It's a good question. Although
Their
it's
hate
not
for
a tab.
buttons?
I mean, it simulates a tab, but it's still not a tab. You know, if you want to switch from one text field to another, that's not going to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
I'm trying it right now, and it's not doing it.
I mean, Tim, you've tried this, but I kind of, I'm trying to like think of how I would change my brain from just thinking of hitting the space bar twice with one finger to, oh no, I have to use two fingers to get two spaces.
It's the iPad typing class.
It's totally a show-off move, I think.
It is. It totally is.
It's because I agree. I don't see me saving a whole lot of time. I mean, I could see me using the two finger, I guess, just to get to the to start a new sentence. But I don't know. It's a cool.
It's a cool little thing to show off and just be a geek, I guess.
Although that double space before sentences is out of style now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not that cool though. You're not going to pick up a chick with it or anything.
No, not at all.
Hey, watch me double space on my iPad. That will get you kicked out of the bar.
Yes. And yeah, so if you guys have any more tips that I have not seen yet, please email me those. I'd love to see them and use them. So the next, it's a big one. We've been talking about OmniFocus for months because I'm a huge fan and use it every day. And now I'm going to use it even more and be more in love with OmniFocus. It's a project management system, and it's by the Omni Group, who we had on a while back, one of our earlier episodes. But it was released, and I'll have a full episode on it for the Wednesday, Thursday show this week. And I did pay for this app, and huge fan. The interface makes me just want to spend my whole day in OmniFocus, which would make me less productive, but it's just a beautiful app.
That would make sense since you have to spend an entire life savings to buy it.
Yeah,
so Tim,
pricing. Yeah,
I need to correct you, Tim. While you can use it for projects, it's not a project management tool because Omni has a different project management tool.
Plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really a list manager, a productivity tool.
Yeah. And if you're an individual, I guess it could be used for project management, not with teams, though.
Right.
They do have a nice ability to email or delegate tasks via email with this app. And yeah, $40. I knew it was going to be $40 before they released it, because Omni's pricing is the iPad apps are going to be half price from their lowest end Mac apps. So the Mac app's $80, so I knew this was going to be $40 without even knowing the release date or whatever. But yeah, it's $40. I mean, I'm willing to support what they're doing over there.
Have you checked out Toodaloo?
No, I used to use it on the iPhone, but I'm just an OmniFocus guy now. Yeah. I spent the money on it, and I'm going to use it.
You're committed.
I'm committed.
I used to be a big OmniFocus guy. I mean, back when they were the only guys in the, because I'm also a big GTD person. I'm all about GTD. I'd be a mess without it. And so that was obviously the first tool that came along for the Mac and then for the iPhone that actually embraced the GTD process. Yeah. And so I was all for it. I was willing to spend the money, but now there's so many out there that do it so well for a quarter of the price. I just can't justify doing the OmniFocus thing anymore.
Yeah.
There's the Toodaloo service out there, and there's so many apps out there that interface with it that are just great. So I think OmniFocus needs to come down a bit in price. I think that their honeymoon period is over, and they need to bring it down to earth a little.
It is the #1 grossing app right now.
Well, because it's easy because it's the most expensive app out there.
Yeah. To each their own. Once you pay for, I'm willing to pay for great software and support those guys, but other people aren't, and I don't know, they become kind of the premium developers for the iPad, sort of, I guess.
Right, and it is one of those things that, and it's with any productivity tool, it's always, it's so personal. It's something that it works for you. So if it works for you, you'll pay that extra money. So there's no,
and it does. I make more money because I use OmniFocus because I learned the system and I'm quick with the system. I do a bunch of different projects and tasks every day because I work at home and have just random stuff to do that I get paid for. So it's important for me to stay on track.
Right, yeah, and it's kind of dangerous when you play around with switching around from system to system. So once you have a system that works,
stick with it.
Yeah, it's better to stick with it.
So enough of that. I'll have my full thoughts about it and kind of a full review, and if it's for you or not, I'll talk about the audience of this app. But the next big thing is, earlier this week, I got my second Hulu Plus invite. So I have 2 invites now. I used my first one the day it was released. But everyone's getting their Hulu invites. And I think,
invites.
Yeah. You got one, Steve, right?
Yeah, I got one too. I'm not... Again, I'm not going to take them up on it yet because it's pay. You have to pay. I was hoping that the invite would be like a free trial for like a month or something, and it's not.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice. No, I didn't actually apply for an invite because I knew that you're going to have to pay, and I'm not quite ready to pay for Hulu. I'm still waiting to see them get some more channels and different things. They don't have everything I want, right?
I think devices, once they have to start adding more TV hookup devices, it'll be more compelling as well.
Yes.
What kind of channels do they have on there, Tim? You bought it, right?
Yeah. They've got, I forget. They've got NBC. I don't know. They've got a lot of content. I don't watch I don't watch TV by channels. I watch it by show. I don't understand the whole channel thing.
So do they? I know you're a person of the new age because that's the way it's eventually going to be. Me from the old school. That's just still my mentality. I think of which stations are on there, but like, do they have like all of the back shows and stuff that you can watch like the last 5 shows or whatever?
Yeah, they have the whole season basically, of the most recent season. So you watch all of 24, all of those episodes. You can watch all of kind of the most recent shows and seasons. And I encountered what was it? It's that one 30 Rock. Was it? I think that's the name of it.
Oh, 30 Rock is great. Yeah.
And seasons 2 and 3 had no ads, so there is some unadded stuff in there, unadvertised content, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, so you mentioned 24, and I've been watching all the 24s on Netflix for the past month or two.
Because recent season, or
I haven't gotten that far yet. That's season 6.
Yeah, I know Netflix is great about the old stuff, but the most recent seasons they're pretty bad about since it's not on DVD yet.
I don't know that they have season 8, which was the last season. I think they have. I know they have season 7. So, and 30 Rock watched most of those as well with no commercials. Yeah. So
yeah, I watched season 1 on Netflix.
There's some advantage, but I haven't had a pressing need yet to pay for another thing after Netflix. So.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's one or the other to me. If there was enough on here that I could cancel my DirecTV, I would jump on paying for it. But I'm not going to pay for it in addition to DirecTV.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I don't pay for cable right now, so this is my cable bill.
Well, all of the things that I watch are very geekery stuff. I'll watch the Science Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want the Science Channel, the Discovery Channel, the Learning Channel. The Morgan Freeman series that's out right now through the Wormhole. Yeah, I'm addicted to that. That kind of stuff. If I can't get that, then the service is useless to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't watch very many sitcoms and stuff. Yeah, they don't hold my attention.
Yeah, sure. So that's Hulu Plus. You can get an invite within 24 hours if you sign up or whatever, or ask for an invite. It's hulu.com/plus. If you want my full thoughts, I talked about this on episode 57 and 58. So I spent 2 episodes, and my thoughts haven't really changed, so you can listen to those. Next up, Gameloft. They've got some sales this week for iPad apps, finally. $1 for Shrek Kart HD, Iron Man 2, and Brothers in Arms. And I had already purchased Shrek Kart and Iron Man, so I was kind of angry. But I did pick up Brothers in Arms. Have you guys picked up any of these apps on sale?
No, I haven't. Have you played them?
No, I haven't either.
Okay. Yeah, I've played a couple of them. For $1, they're worth it. I spent like $7, I think, on each of the previous ones. And for $7, it wasn't worth it, I don't think.
Which one's your favorite out of that list?
Probably Shrek Kart. I haven't gotten too far in Iron Man 2 just because I'm not good at the game.
Shrek Kart looks hilarious.
It's
I haven't
kind
played it,
of
though.
funny. Yeah, I downloaded Brothers in Arms 2, but I haven't started to play it yet. I think that'll be my favorite of the three once I get into it.
That's
So,
a
Tim-
first-person shooter, right?
Yeah. Yeah, John.
Tim, speaking of apps on sale, I don't know if it's still on sale, but remember last week we were looking for Pazziz?
Yeah, I was updating during this
Yeah.
week. It's free.
Yeah, it was. Well, and it's for a limited time because it wasn't available in the App Store, as we
it
saw.
expires July 31st, so I think it's not free anymore.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
But
they
I
their
got it,
developer
so-
license lapsed.
Ah,
So that's what happened. They lost their developer license because of faxing and old technology they were using to update that.
What? Wait, what?
They were faxing in a payment, I guess, to update their license, and they didn't get the fax in time, I guess, or they misplaced the fax.
I and which company was this?
Pazziz. They
Oh.
do the like sleeping apps or whatever that are. I love them. I mean, some people hate them, but
Oh, the white noise kind of things.
sort of. It's got its own system where it generates new sounds each time. It's not a pre-recorded thing. They're pretty good. It's got a built-in alarm clock too. It's kind of replaces your need for a alarm clock app.
you know,
What's the
Tim,
name of the app?
one is
go ahead.
called Energizer, and the other is called Sleep. But
Right.
they seem to be missing from the store again because I can't find them again.
Really? I'll check that out and see what's going on. So I want to spend all day with the updates, but let's see. Wii Farm is out. I've been starting to play it. It's kind of the Farmville for Wii Rule folks, and I'm liking it. It's Wii Rule's getting. I still love it because I have so much money coming in now with all these ruby trees. But yeah, Wii Farm's a nice new adventure of starting fresh. So
I just now logged in for the first time on it. I've been seeing everybody play it.
it's a lot of fun. I didn't think I'd like the farming version, but it's nice.
So this is basically okay. So this is the rustic version of Wii Rule.
Yeah, it's when
It's
you're
like-
a hillbilly.
Yeehaw! All right.
So
This duck
yeah.
to get.
I'm possibilities 10 on this. If you want to check me out, and what you're Bastador, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm Bastador. I just logged into it, so friend me.
Cool. Are you gonna be a Wii Rule or Wii Farm person, John?
I'm just still catching up with Wii Rule, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
have to look at that.
once they updated their levels, and I went from 30 to 35 without doing anything. It was kind of sweet.
And
Well, I
again,
think
these guys are. Go ahead.
I think I'm still at 22, so I got a little ways to go yet.
Yeah, there's just no challenge with you really anymore. I've just advanced so far.
Yeah.
Again,
So-
these guys are just totally gouging for their. What was it called? Grow.
Yeah, the grow. Oh, no, I'm not buying any more Grow Mojo for the rest of my life. I'm done with that.
Good. That's an insane, crazy.
That was the biggest regret of my life. Paid money for Mojo. So, yeah. John, you had the next item on the list here. Oh, did you want to say anything else about the Mojos? Or?
No, I was just going to point out that you should listen to Austin Powers when you can't buy Mojo.
So,
All right,
so
go
John, what's this EU must list? What is it?
EW Entertainment Weekly must list. It's a really an interesting kind of app. If you ever seen Entertainment Weekly on TV, it's let me see if I can throw it up here. So basically, it's just kind of information on movies and TV shows and whatnot that you can go through. It's kind of a neat little thing. It just came out.
Looks like kind of a keyboard interface. A little.
Yeah, similar uniqueness, I guess I would say. But yeah, I'd say check it out.
So yeah, it's free, and if you're in entertainment, check it out. And also, Cracked came out. I have no idea what Cracked is. I hear it's a magazine as well.
Well, Cracked was an alternative to Mad magazine that was around for a few years, and it kind of died. I don't know, probably in the early this century. and so I think it's been surviving as a website, and so now they have an application, and they've got some pretty funny stuff on there. So another free app. So I'd say check it out.
Okay, cool. Well, the next story is about Macworld. They had an article about using an iPad in dirty, grimy places. So using it on rooftops, and they're talking about how companies are getting faster response times with customer service because people have iPads now. It can get dirty, and it's all right. And customers like the coolness factor. I'm just trying to do an overview really quickly here, but basically the iPad's great for businesses, and you can use it in even the dirtiest of situations.
Oh yeah, if you put enough padding on it. Yeah, I really like. Yeah, I mean, I really like the screen. If you put a screen cover on it, the contour case comes with a pretty good screen cover. So you put the contour case on it, the screen cover, and it is pretty indestructible. Unless you're actually trying to kill it, But if you're just using it out in a rough environment like a shop floor or something like that, it's great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use a naked iPad out there, but if you cover it up, it'll work. What was that, John?
Yeah, if you put one of those, like the Invisible Shield or one of those other competitors that really have a good clear thing that's hard to scratch, and maybe put it into one of those cases that I saw on our sponsor's site, Gadget Freeway, where you carry it around your neck and use it. Sounds like it would be perfect.
Yeah, definitely. And
when you say it like that, go ahead.
Oh, all the bad case to talk about. It's about how you can actually use your iPad in those sticky situations at the end here.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
when you say put it around your neck, I just have this picture of Flava Flav. I kind of hang, or a Teletubby maybe.
There you go.
So let's move it on to the last, late breaking story, and that's jailbreaking is easy once again. Actually, it's easier once again. Before we had that Spirit jailbreak, which is dead simple. Now we have a deader and simpler version. You go to jailbreakme.com.
Hopefully not too dead.
So you go to jailbreakme.com and you're jailbreaked, right? Is that how it works, Steve? I haven't done this yet.
Pretty much. Yeah, I did it on my 3GS with a new boot ROM, which I've been just waiting for. And yeah, you just go to it, and it's really cool. It has a slide to jailbreak. So you slide it over in it, and then it downloads very slowly a file over the internet from some internet server in the middle of nowhere, and then it after it's done downloading, it'll switch to saying jailbreaking, and then it has a little status bar that goes across. It'll reboot your phone, and when it comes back up, Cydia will be on your desktop.
Will this work on a iPod Touch 3rd generation?
It says that it will. I have to go and verify, though. Don't quote me.
Okay, I'm trying it right now.
You'll let us know that. Because I had the tunnel vision on the 3GS. When I saw the 3GS on there, I was like, oh, got it. And it's probably one of the most impulsive, dangerous things I've done to my equipment in a while.
I remember when this was available back in the early days, people were jailbreaking iPhones in Apple stores.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You remember the original jailbreak? It was web based, and it was a Safari hack just like this.
Oh yeah.
And there was an episode of what is that? My Life on the D List. Kathy Griffin. Is that
Griffith?
Yeah, Griffith. And Steve Wozniak was dating her, and there was a scene where they were in the back seat of some cab, and he had her iPhone. And he said, "Are you jailbroken yet?" And she looked at him like he had two heads. And she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he said, "Oh, that's all right. I'll do it for you." And he jailbroke. He went to the website and jailbroke her phone for her in the back of the limo. Steve Wozniak.
Wow.
I imagine Joz wasn't too happy about that.
No.
So along with these two jailbreaking fans here, I just have to point out that you are going to a website and having what most people would call malware execute on your device in order to exploit.
Oh, you're such a buzzkill.
Oh, John. You have to trust the jailbreak community to be.
Well, you do, but it's Steve just said it. It's some server out in the middle of who knows
Yeah.
where.
I
mean,
trust the jailbreakers. They're honest
Right,
people who
that's-
do nothing but good-hearted things.
that's good.
He's right. He's right. I mean, it is one of those risks that you need to keep in mind that, and it's kind of scary, actually, when you think about it, because, I mean, these guys are doing it for quote-unquote good, and that same exploit is out there in the wild, and those of you who do not feel like jailbreaking, you may have your phone jailbroken and don't even know it at that point. You just go to a website, and with that Safari exploit, and
Yeah.
I mean, that's a security flaw.
One. That's going to get
Right.
patched so fast.
I mean, this kind of a jailbreak is, in my opinion, the riskiest kind, because it's not like you download some code, which
Oh, yeah, very
give
risky.
it to you, and you run it on your own machine. You're actually just going out to the internet and using a flaw in mobile Safari to do low-level things to your operating system. So,
Yeah.
I would just say make sure you don't have like all your banking information saved in Safari when you go do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Back up
Well-
your iPad first. This does work on the iPad 3.2.1, so that's why we're talking about it. Mainly.
I thought it didn't work on the 3.2.1.
It does. Yep.
Oh, look, I was reading that it didn't. But yeah, and one thing to kind of in these guys' favor, though, the jailbreakers typically, the good ones, these good guys, they close the hole behind them. So you're kind of securing your iPad from it at the same time that you're jailbreaking. So they did that with the previous ones too. They would fix the bug at the same time that they would exploit it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I trust these guys.
that's good.
But
Yeah.
you just hope that nobody hijacks their URL
Yeah.
and redirects you to some other site that looks like it's their jailbreaking site, and yet
Right.
it's not. So
and along the lines of what John is saying, you do have to keep them. I mean, a lot of people think that their iPhone is so secure because it's Apple, and everybody thinks Apple, and everybody thinks secure, and there's no viruses for Apple, and I mean, these are perfect examples that's a big mirage, I guess, because you can crack Apple stuff. I mean, these guys are doing it, and if these guys can do it to jailbreak, anybody else out there can do it to steal all of your personal information. So Apple's really just as vulnerable as everybody else when it comes to these kind of buffer overflow attacks.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
be careful.
So, yeah,
Very careful.
Jailbreaking is very fun, and my iPad is infinitely more useful with it. But it also it will get more unstable. I'm not sure if you've had I have to reboot at least 3 times a day to keep my iPad stable now with this virtual memory thing I've done.
Really? I
Does
never
that happen
do.
to you or no?
No, not at all. It's been perfectly rock. Although I don't run too many apps simultaneously at the same time, and I'm always kind of keeping an eye on my task list to see how many are running
Yeah.
and killing things out. Every once in a while I'll respring, just to make sure I kill anything out.
Yeah.
And if
I
you don't
try
know
to
what
keep it cleaned
respringing is,
up, but I might just have too much stuff on my iPad. I don't know. I've got like
Right.
255 apps or something crazy on mine.
that might be a few too many.
I probably have 2 iPads worth of apps on here. But
Jim, you have
that's
2
crazy, man.
iPads.
well, yeah.
You have 2 iPads. Why don't you separate some of those apps?
I don't know.
spread the load, man.
I don't know. So, yeah, let's get on to the first focus topic. We've got 2 this week. The first is about finding out your iPad stats. So there's this website that'll be in the show notes. It's kind of weird to spell out here, but it's chipmunk.nl, and it's kind of all this stuff after it. But we've been using the site for a while to find out information about Apple products, and they've added iPad support. So what you do is enter your serial number, and you get all the stats for your iPad, such as if it's 3G or Wi-Fi, which you already know. But the really interesting ones are basically where it's made, which is not really that interesting, but the big ones are production week and production number within the week. So I was able to figure out that iPad 3Gs were not actually made until like the mid to end of April, right before their release. So Apple wasn't lying to us when they said it's April 30th because we don't have iPads yet. I thought they were just holding off because they just wanted to hold off because it's Apple. And was that your feeling too when they had that late release date?
Yeah, well, I thought that they were just trying to catch up so that they had enough at the gate so that they were, I just thought that they needed to stock up. That was my main. Yeah, I didn't think that they were artificially holding back. I thought that they would, they had a certain number of inventory that they needed to reach before launch date, and they were just kind of holding off till they reached that number.
Yeah. And it does seem, I kind of went through the weeks with all of our data. I think we have 5 iPads data's worth. And it seems like they started manufacturing Wi-Fi iPads the first week of January is what I kind of deducted from all this, which is just an interesting stat to come across if people are curious, hey, when did Apple start making these and all of that kind of stuff. And the production number within the week is kind of interesting too. The highest number we've got from this group is, I think it's, 24,000? Yeah.
25, 778.
Okay,
Yep.
So my question is, how many do you think they can push out in a week?
Oh, wow. I don't know.
If 25,000 is the max we've had with our group here, do you think 50,000 in a week, or how many they've got? They sell like 1 million a month, right?
Right. I think that they slowed down quite a bit because of the screen issues, didn't they? So I'm not sure how many they're pushing out now.
They had screen issues?
Yeah, there was a news story, was it last week, where they were having trouble getting the screens in time, and
oh, that's great.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, if they've been selling, which it appears, about 1 million a month, that means they need to produce about 250,000 a week if they're going to keep that supply up to keep selling.
Yeah, Apple's not lying when they say they sell them as fast as they make them, because you got your 3G in June, or did you get in July? When did you get yours?
That's a good question. When was the last day to buy them to still get the AT&T grandfathered in?
June 11th, right?
June 11th. So yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah. Well, and if it was sometime in June, I mean, I got it like late June then.
Yeah.
So,
and the production week of that one was in June, and you got yours in June. So basically, if you get an iPad, it's made the same month. It's very new. So that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, and something really strange. They've not had any iPads in the stores in stock for a long time. And, I mean, there's still a delay online, but there was a guy who came to me and said, hey, can I get an iPad for my wife for our anniversary? And I was like, oh, yeah, you're going to have to order. When's your anniversary? And he said, it's today.
They had 3Gs in the Indianapolis store readily available. The Wi-Fi's were still gone.
Right. So, I mean, I didn't think that they were going to have any in the store. So I said, well, you can take a picture of mine and tell her this is what you're going to get because, and order it online. Because you're just not going to get one. But he called the Apple store in Ann Arbor, and they had like 10 in stock. They had a bunch in stock, like a variety of them. Mm-hmm. So, go check your Apple store.
Local Apple store, online. Place to be. Yeah, it's 7-10 days Apple Store online, and yeah, you can pick some up in store now. But it's still a very popular device, obviously, with the stats we've been going through. And if you want to check this out and add to I'd love to compile some stats on iPad. So if you want to compile those and send or get your stats and send them to me, that'd be great. The URL is in the link here, and I'll tweet it out as well. But the second focus topic is that of what are the apps that are still missing, the apps that we still want to see on the iPad that would make it a much more useful device. So the one I came across earlier this week was I want my iPad to literally become an Apple TV to my Mac. So the reason I want this is I've got Air Video. That works great. But I want, when I stop playing a movie on my Apple TV downstairs or in the other room, for it to be able to pick off exactly where I left off on my iPad, so I don't have to find my place and everything. And it'd be cool if Apple developer or some Cydia developer created some app that made iTunes think this is an Apple TV. Is that something that would be useful to anybody else besides me?
iTunes on your computer?
Yeah, with Apple TV. It streams content to your Apple TVs, basically. And it remembers where you stop playing content, so everything stays in sync. And I'd love for some app to make iTunes believe your iPad is actually an Apple TV when this app is running, so it could stream to that. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not.
I'm almost kind of the other way. So you want to be able to watch on your TV content that's on the iPad? Is that what you're saying?
No. I want to be able to watch on my iPad streaming from iTunes, just as you would an Apple TV, your videos. So your iPad becomes another Apple TV, basically, is what I'm looking for.
I mean, can't you do that with Air Video, though?
You can, but I want to do it through iTunes, so the video would stay in sync when I'm done watching. So I want to be able to stop a video halfway on my Apple TV.
Okay.
It's already synced up with iTunes. That's where you're at. I want then iTunes to stream it to my iPad. So
Okay, it's all coming through. It's 10:30 at night here, so my brain is going. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's clear. It's like I'm trying to explain because if people don't have Apple TVs, it's kind of hard to explain to.
So I get you. So yeah, basically you want to watch something on your Apple TV and then go to your iPad and watch it there too. You know, I'm along those same lines. What I would really like is for a desktop version of Air Video, so that I can watch Air Video on my TV because I have a laptop hooked up to my TV. I don't, you know, that's how I do it. And so it'd be nice if there was an Air Video app on there, and then that would do it, so that I could switch it. Yeah, so something like that. The Stream to Me Too, that would be another cool desktop app. As a matter of fact, it would be really, really nice if all of these developers who make really, really cool iPad apps could also make an OS X desktop version of the same exact app with the same exact interface, so that you can kind of just flip back and forth between the two. That would be really cool. Just throwing out a bone there.
Yeah.
Do you have any video needs, John, that are lacking?
You know, I probably always have video needs, Tim. I think your idea of an Apple TV app would be a good one. I would certainly get some use out of that, but nothing pressing.
Okay. Well, the next one I had was GarageBand. I want to be able to record, edit, and basically do all my podcasting with my iPad. I think it's up to snuff with the specs. I think you could handle it for what I do. And I think it could be easily done if some developer just took the time to do it. That's something that's really bugging me.
Yeah, on the same note, GarageBand or other real media apps or audio apps, I certainly could use. I was working on some audio for our iPad game that's coming out soon, and I really wanted to do some stuff on the iPad, but I had to go back to the Mac to actually do it. So.
Do you have any audio needs or media editing needs not met?
Not really, not until I have multitasking, because I mean things like an Audacity kind of program would be nice on the iPad, but it's still single tasking unless you're jailbroken. Yeah. And I think that once they bring iOS 4 to the iPad, something like an Audacity or a GarageBand or something like that would be a must for people who want to do podcasts on the go.
Yep, agreed. And I'm angry at Apple. They still haven't released a beta of iOS 4. It's supposed to be coming out this fall. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, I know. That is driving me nuts. At first, I thought I had read something last week that they'd come out with a beta.
That's what I read too, but no.
Didn't happen.
Not yet.
I was really bummed.
Yeah. My other one I thought of is I use RapidWeaver to create sites. I'd love to have a RapidWeaver or Dreamweaver type app for the iPad. I think that'd be a cool thing to add too. Just more content creation apps. I think it's still lacking with those.
You still build websites with
I use RapidWeaver.
Oh, I'm a big CMS guy. I like Drupal and Joomla stuff like that. Stuff like that. You could build those websites right there in Safari.
Yeah.
But building an actual website on the iPad, I think it seems like it would be ideal because, I mean, just think of the way Pages works. If you could build a website the same way you could build a Pages document, that would be insanely cool.
That would be. Yeah, I think Apple will have iLife for the iPad with their 11 release. I think that'll be one of the big things. They'll have an iPad version as well. With
iWeb and all that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
So cool. John, you had some thoughts here. What are your ones that you were still lacking here?
Yeah, well, I'm still looking for good organizational tools, and we spoke about OmniFocus earlier, and maybe that is a step in the right direction. But I think there's still a fair size hole in the offerings in just general organizational tools. Really great outlining or note-taking apps, to-do applications like OmniFocus. There's just not a lot of good choices right now. So, one of the other things that I'm still looking for is a really good PDF markup tool. playing around with a couple of them. They don't really do what I thought the iPad was going to be perfect for, which was to get a PDF document and mark it up with your comments and changes that need to be made and be able to send that back to somebody.
Have you looked at iAnnotate?
I have looked at iAnnotate, and it didn't seem to be what I was looking for, but I might go back and look at it because I know they've updated it.
And just a heads up, I got an email from a listener 2 days ago, and he wants me to do an episode entirely on this. So I'll be doing one shortly on this. So I'll see what I find.
And a little plug back at us at the iPadShow.com. The episode that we just did today is that we just did an entire episode on PDFs, markups, and taking your documents with you on the go. Awesome. So so you might want to look at that too. We covered iAnnotate and a couple other ones that let you annotate PDFs and then send them out.
Well, I guess I'll be.
Oh, sorry, John.
I certainly know what I'll be listening to in podcasts this week.
Yeah, yeah. Check out iPadShow.com for that one. And then you had two more I see here. What do you have up your sleeve here?
Yeah, one thing that is also kind of a shock and surprise to me that I haven't seen much of, and that is a forms tool. It seems like the iPad would be just perfect for, creating some forms and having people fill out forms. And in addition, kind of an innovative word processor. We've got Pages, and we've got a couple that are Microsoft Word compatible kind of clones, but other than that, there's not a whole lot that's really kind of innovative. There's a number of innovative word processors on the Mac as well as on the PC, for specific, like for, writers or people who have different needs in their job. And the whole idea in my mind behind iOS is really to get focused applications that are really for a specific task, and I'm not seeing a lot of this come forth yet.
Yeah, right now the only really feasible way to make forms on the iPad is to use some app that integrates with Google Docs, like Docs to Go or something like that, and that's still, that's a workaround. There's nothing out there that's really good for making forms that I've seen anyways.
Yeah. Well, one cool thing, I thought this was going to be something still not possible yet on the iPad. EPUB creation. So if you want to make your own ebooks, right? iBooks, whatever. And I was discovering this when I was doing my diary journal series that I'm going to be covering in a future show. But my memoir has just blown me away. So you're able to have multiple journals, multiple diaries or whatever. And one of those could be a book you're working on. And you can have new entries, and those are becoming chapter marks. And you can export this as an EPUB. So what that means is I've exported a book, and it gives me table of contents, beautiful interface here, and I've just been blown away what it's been able to do. So now you can actually write your book on an iPad, export it, and it's all set to go to publish into the iBook store, and it looks beautiful. So my memoir has kind of solved the EPUB creation solution. So you don't need a desktop to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Well, at least for the only thing it's exporting is your diaries. So it's not like you can just import any document and export as EPUB. But
no, you'd have to create it within my memoir. So if you're writing a book on the iPad itself.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to have something. Have you actually exported one out and seen what it looked like? I haven't gone that far yet.
A couple minutes ago, and it looks beautiful. It does give you a little icon for their app on here. So that's the only thing it does. It's this little tiny thing, but besides that, it's got the title of the book, the author, the year, and then it'll have table of contents. It'll have all of that beautifully formatted in whatever font you want.
That's cool. Yeah, that seems to be. There's a lot of ways to make EPUBs, and it's really hard to get a good EPUB out of a conversion from something else. So it's cool if they're pulling something off that the graphics look nice on and everything. That's impressive.
The problem I've had with desktop EPUB creation, it's clunky. Even InDesign, it's not the most user-friendly software. This is the most user-friendly software I've had to create EPUBs. I've had some pretty open source stuff that looked like, not good stuff. It wasn't fun and pleasant to be in. So,
Yeah,
And Tim,
oh, go ahead.
Tim, you're just reading that in iBooks?
yeah, I just synced it over. You export, and then you have it available via the file sharing system in iTunes, which I don't like, but that's how you do it. And then I sunk it over the iBooks, and it read fine. I mean, there wasn't much content in there, but I just wanted to test it out.
Yeah, there's there's online services and stuff like that, but there's nothing really on the iPad. There's that what's that web address? ebookconversion.com.
Yeah.
And for like 50 cents a page to $2 a page, depending on how complex the page is, they'll actually handhold the whole conversion from PDF or whatever you have words, into EPUB. But it's really hard to get a good, like you were saying, InDesign or anything like that. It's hard to get those to come out looking nice.
Yeah.
So
It's been a problem. It's like, come on, this is now the standard. I mean, I think Pages should have this built in. I think 11,
Yeah.
the 11 version will, but it's just a mess right now. And it's surprising. This diary app is the best one out there I've seen. And it's just, I was glad to find it.
Well, the industry standard in the book manufacturing market right now is still PDF. So everybody's still outputting in PDF and then converting to EPUB from PDF.
Seriously.
So-
wow.
Yeah, so I mean that's why everybody pretty much is surrounding PDF. But for EPUB is the standard when it comes to ebooks, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very easy to print a book from an EPUB. Though, if you're going to send it off to a book printer, you don't want to send them an EPUB. You want to send them a PDF with the embedded fonts.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's what we're suffering from is really no matter how much we are all adapted to electronic books, it's still a new frontier for book publishing. So. Right.
Yeah, and at least for the foreseeable future, both are going to have to live side by side. So whatever the default has to be something that can go to both sides. I think the iBooks does a really good job of just importing PDFs. I think that exporting to a PDF to iBook looks great. You miss some features though. You miss some of the lookup features and stuff. But they're getting those features slowly in, update by. I mean, the most recent update to iBooks added a lot of features that were EPUB only, and so I think that they're eventually going to get. The problem with PDF is there's so many different flavors of PDF.
Mm-hmm.
You have PDFs that are nothing but captured images of things, so you don't really get the text.
Yeah,
then you have PDFs that. Right, and then you have PDFs with embedded fonts, without embedded fonts, and so on. So it's hard to get a PDF and say you can do this feature with all PDFs. So I think that's where Apple's, with EPUBs, it's pretty much standard. They're all made the same way.
Yeah. So I had one last thing. I'm not going to cover it. I'll talk about it in a future show. I don't think we have time tonight. But the next thing I wanted to talk about is we're talking about how you can use your iPad outside. And this is a bag from Gadget Freeway, and I call it the iPad case bag. So I think the concept here is you put your iPad in here, and it's both a case and a bag. So this is the bag I use when I'm out and about, I use it at the Apple Store, and he asked me, hey, where'd you get this? Because he hasn't seen one like this. And what I'm most excited about this bag is hiking and like geocaching. I put a screen protector on my iPad, and I now have this case, which is also a bag, that I can just use when I'm geocaching. It's going to be my go-to outdoor bag from now on.
It's like your satchel.
Yeah.
It reminds me of an old military map satchel where they had a plastic cover over the map, and it was open in about that size, so you could actually see enough of the map to make it useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
sorry.
One thing that with mine, I found that some people can pull it off better than others. Some people carry it and it looks like a purse. Other people carry it and it looks like a man bag. So it really depends on, I guess, the person.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what you're wearing when you have it.
Yeah, if you're wearing a skirt, it might be a little hard, but.
Yeah, then it's pretty much a shoe, and then it's probably a purse. But it helps. What I really would wish is that you could switch those the straps so that it would hold it in landscape, because that's the way I. Yeah, because when you bring it up, it's only in portrait, and that when we did that on our show, that was the same thing I brought up there. That would be nice that when you brought it up, if you could bring it up in landscape view. So
I've been able to turn it. I've been able to turn it if I have enough space in my strap to do it, but yeah, that'd be nice. And yeah, I'm just excited to use this bag for geocaching. So I'm a huge geocacher, and the iPad's
Really?
GPS is fantastic. It's me much better than the iPhone doing this. And I was trying to figure out a way to do this because I need my hands free when I'm geocaching.
Right.
So-
Yeah, of all of the bags that I've seen and played with and saw online, that looks like the coolest one. That looks like the most manly one. And they also do have other colors and stuff, so if you're a woman and you want one, there's one for you too.
Yep, there is. Yeah, that's at gadgetfreeway.com. It's $89, but it gives you a case and a bag in the same deal. So it's a fantastic bag that I'm not just saying it's great because they're our sponsor. I'm really loving this bag, and I'm going to be using it, on a daily basis as I go out and about. So
Yep, I use mine too. I can vouch for it. It's really cool.
awesome. Yep, gadgetfreeway.com. And with that said, let's get on to the picks of the week. And I move Steve up to the front in case you have to leave early. If you do, if not, you can stick around.
All right. Well, picks of the week. I guess I can go over one that I was going to cover on the previous show. Stanza. So have you guys played with Stanza?
I have, yes.
Yeah, Stanza is basically it's a way to get ebooks on your iPad outside of any other. We talked about Kindle, we talked about the Nook, and we talked about iBooks. This is a good way to get some of the free ebooks on here from a whole bunch of different sources. I wish I had my display up so I can actually show you guys on the thing, but I can't. You can go. Bring up the list of. Hold on, let me bring up my list of things. There's a whole bunch of different services that you can pull this thing from. See, if you hit on Get Books, there's Project Gutenberg, there's Random House Free Library, and just tons of them that you can get free ones. There's also you could buy books from O'Reilly, and I guess if you're into romance books, there's all romance ebooks, and so on. You can also sync this thing. There's a desktop application that they have. I don't know if it's theirs or someone else's that you can sync from your desktop too.
Yeah, it stands on a desktop machine.
Right. There's a what is it? It's called Calibre. Calibre. You can download that. Put that. It's an open source tool. You put that on your desktop, and you can sync from Calibre on your computer.
Right, but they do have a Stanza app for at least for the Mac and I think Windows as well that does that syncing as well.
And this is an Amazon purchase, actually. They bought it a little whiles ago, which is kind of crazy. They have this open source one, and then the Kindle, the most closed system of all.
Yeah, very cool. All right, well, that's my pick.
Awesome.
And it's
You have
free.
time to stick around till the end, or are you out of here?
Yep, I think I'm out of here now.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks again for being on this show. I really appreciate your input. And people want to check out what you're up to. It's iPadshow.com.
Yes, it is. You can find it at iPadshow.com and just click on the links there, and you can see our stuff.
Very cool. And you can follow him on Twitter at sbostador.
Yep.
So,
Have a good one, Steve.
have a good night.
We'll see you guys later.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for having me on. Bye.
Oh, no problem. Bye. So, let's get on to your picks, John. What do you got for us this week?
Sure. So one of them we already talked about, which was the Entertainment Week must list. That's been kind of fun since I discovered that, playing around with that. And then another one that I think has been out for a little while, and I just kind of discovered it, is an app for Mashable. So for those familiar with the site Mashable, this is a good way to get into their content. So, I don't think anything radically new from or different from going to the website, but a good quick way of picking up Mashable things. It shows the trending story up at the top, and it shows a list of the latest news, and it's a good way to read Mashable content. So, and it's a free app also. So, take a look at it if you like Mashable stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, I've been using this app a lot, and if you don't have a jailbroken iPad, it will not be in Flash. So, yeah, that's one of the annoying things about Frash. It turns all YouTube into Flash content, so that's a big annoying thing. But, yeah, it works great on my non-jailbroken iPad. Yeah, and I use this every day. I still use it pretty often here. And my picks, we talked about Wii Farm earlier. So if you're a Wii Rule fan, or if you don't like Wii Rule and just want to farm, you can use Wii Farm. But my big pick is Chopper 2. And I talked about this on the Friday-Saturday show. And this is the coolest app I've seen in a while. Besides OmniFocus, which is also a great app that I'll talk about later. But the coolest thing about this is you have the ability here to have your iPhone or iPod Touch as its controller, which is the coolest thing in the world. So here's kind of the viewing here, and then you use your iPhone to steer and shoot, and it's amazing. And what's even more amazing is I've hooked this into my 50-inch screen at my house, and it does video export. So you're literally sitting on the couch with your iPhone, controlling your iPad, which is hooked up to your TV screen. So it's literally the first, I think this is the first instance of an iOS video game console in all sense of the term of console, right? So I think it's pretty amazing.
Very cool.
And the cool thing is it works as a standalone app as well on your iPhone or iPad. So it works in all scenarios.
Yeah, so it's a universal app.
Exactly.
Very cool. And it's only $2.99.
Yep, it's on sale. I think it'll go up later. But yeah, those are my picks of the week. And yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming out. So I'll have a show on PDF, marking up later. I'll have a show on OmniFocus and my thoughts on that app. And just lots of stuff coming up. And I'd like to thank everyone for writing all those new reviews. I've seen quite a few, and it always makes me feel good when I see some reviews in iTunes. So thank you. You know who you guys are. And you can go to the iTunes and iPad Possibilities to check out that stuff there and write your own review. And I'd really appreciate that. And if you want to leave feedback, you can email me at ipadpossibilities@gmail.com. And how can people contact you and all that kind of stuff?
So I'm Jay Finnan on Twitter. And I'm also at project-ipad.com.
Very cool. And that blog will be added to the website tonight. It's on my OmniFocus to-do list.
Aha! Good for OmniFocus.
Yes. That'll be added tonight. And let's see. With that said, I want to let everyone know, they might have came across this in the app. The iPod Possibilities podcast has officially been launched. And I'm very excited about this one. I'll be talking about the iPod Touch and Apple TVs and all sorts of stuff. So no iPhone focus like all of those other shows out there. If you own an iPod Touch, you finally have your own show pretty much. So very excited about that. And it goes out every Wednesday. And this Wednesday will be how to turn your iPod Touch into an actual telephone with SIM cards and all that kind of stuff. Some interesting things. So this Wednesday, check out the first real episode. You can find it in iTunes by searching TPPN. You'll have all our shows there, or just go to tppn.tv. And it'll also be a part of the iPad Possibilities podcast app, I think. So check that out. And the final bit here is to support this podcast. Simply go to gadgetfreeway.com. You can get the iPad case bag there and all sorts of other unique gizmos and gadgets. And I'd like to really thank them for supporting this podcast and letting me find out about all these interesting, unique products that I've never seen before. Stuff like camera helmets and Bluetooth keyboards that fold into your pocket and all sorts of cool stuff. Anti-glare screen protectors. So check them out there at gadgetfreeway.com, and that's how you support this podcast. So with that said, you've been listening to the iPad Possibilities podcast on tppn.tv. This is Tim and John and Steve, which you can check out at ipadshow.com. And until next time, have a great iPad week.